Welcome, dreamers, to Pindlewood and Fable, a shop unlike any other, where every story is a doorway to another world, and every dream a journey. Tonight's story is about Holly's bakery and her discovery of an enchanted spice during this year's Autumn Spice Festival. Holly's bakery had become the heart of the town of Maplebrook. The cinnamon loaves, spiced cakes, and mugs of hot cider were more popular than ever, and the entire town seemed to glow with warmth as the holiday season approached. The bakery was filled with the unmistakable scent of freshly baked treats, while the windows fogged up with the chatter and laughter of customers. But one chilly evening, as Holly and Emma worked side by side in the kitchen, something unexpected happened. Holly was kneading dough for a new batch of gingerbread cookies when a peculiar shimmer in the air caught her eye. At first, she thought it was just the light from the fire dancing in the corner of the room, but it wasn't the usual soft glow. It was a flicker, like a tiny spark of something else. Holly felt a chill of excitement run down her spine. "What do you mean? I thought those spices were just, well, magical in a good way. But this feels different. As the tale unfolds, you'll be embraced by gentle magic and the warmth of a world where dreams come true. Now, let us begin our journey." Down a quiet alley, just out of sight, there's a little shop that's known only to a select few. It's a shop unlike any other, a shop not for buying, but for dreaming. As you step through the door, you're greeted by the rich scent of aged leather and paper, along with the faintest hint of wood smoke. The air is warm and inviting, with what you realize is the comforting smell of old books. Hundreds of them, their leather bindings well worn with time. Shelves stretch high, lined with tomes of every shape and size, each one whispering of faraway places and forgotten stories. There's a certain magic in the air, as if each book contains a secret just waiting to be told. As you wander further, you notice the shelves aren't just filled with books. There are delicate glass bottles with shimmering contents, their labels handwritten in faded ink, the faintest aroma of dried herbs and lavender mixing with the smell of the leather-bound books. Around a corner, there's a tower of brass-bound chests, each overspilling with the objects housed inside. Around another corner, you spot a collection of antique clocks. They're ticking slow and steady, as though time itself moves differently in this place. Small trinkets, old compasses, tiny porcelain animals, and faded maps are scattered in the most unexpected places, waiting to be discovered. Everywhere you look, there's something new to find, a hidden treasure or a forgotten charm, all inviting you to pause and explore. As you venture even deeper into the shop, your eyes are drawn to a cozy nook tucked away between the towering shelves. The faint crackle of a warm fireplace draws you in, and as you approach, you see beside it the largest, most inviting armchair you've ever laid eyes on. A giant, deep green velvet chair, as big as a bed, soft from many years of love, its cushions as soft as clouds. There's even a matching large, plump ottoman pulled up close to rest one's feet. The firelight dances across the chair, its golden glow casting a warm, soothing light over the room. Nestled beside the chair is a basket, overflowing with soft piles of knitted blankets, their earthy colours inviting you to wrap yourself up in their warmth. Plush pillows are stacked high, each one more tempting than the last. You can feel the pull of it, the cosy armchair, the blankets, the fire. Your body begins to relax, and all you want to do is sink into it. You absolutely can't resist. The chair is the most welcoming embrace you've ever felt, a sanctuary from the world. Though the shop is filled with hundreds of treasures waiting to be explored, and each book with a story of its own, the comfort of the chair and the soothing glow of the fire are far too inviting. You curl up, settle back, and allow the warmth of the blankets to surround you, the softness of the chair to cradle you. As you relax, the shop seems to fade away, and a peaceful, calming story begins to unfold around you, gently guiding you toward a world of dreams. Welcome to Pindlewood and Fable, where every visit is an invitation to rest, to dream, and to explore the comforting world of bedtime stories. One peaceful journey at a time. I invite you now to find your perfect resting place, just as you've walked into our little shop and have been welcomed by the warmth of the crackling fire. You're nestled into the large, old velvet armchair, soft and worn from years of comforting dreamers, just like you. The cushions hug your body as though they've been waiting just for you to snuggle deep into them. The chair feels like a cloud, and as you sink into it, you feel your body begin to relax gently, easily. Now let yourself settle. Let the weight of your body release as you sink deeper into the cushions, feeling the softness of the worn velvet underneath you, wrapping you in warmth and comfort. The soft blankets are draped over your lap and across your shoulders, their gentle weight adding to the sense of deep relaxation. The fire crackles softly nearby, filling the room with a soft golden glow. Notice how the blankets feel, so warm and inviting. They settle perfectly around you, as if each one were chosen just for you. Feel the softness of them against your skin, how it smooths out any remaining tension. And with every breath, feel the weight of the day slip away, leaving you lighter and more at ease. Now take a moment to check in with your body. How does it feel in this cozy space? Are your feet relaxed? Your legs resting gently? Let go of any tension in your knees, your thighs, your hips. Allow the chair to take all of your weight. Feel your body sink further and further. Breathe slowly and deeply. Let the air fill your lungs, and as you exhale, let go of any last bit of tightness in your body. There's no need to hold on to anything anymore. Feel the warmth of the fire, the gentle flicker of the flames, and how it softly caresses your skin. As you breathe, imagine that the warmth from the fire is spreading slowly through your body, from your toes all the way up to the top of your head. With each inhale, imagine you're drawing in that warmth, and with each exhale, feel yourself sinking deeper into the embrace of the chair, heavier and heavier. And as you settle further, Imagine the soft blankets becoming just a little bit heavier, cocooning you in the most delicious comfort, wrapping you in a sense of safety and serenity. You're perfectly supported here and now. There's nowhere else you need to be, no rush, no expectations, just the sound of the crackling fire and the comfort of your cozy chair. Now take another deep breath, and as you exhale, allow your body to soften even further. Let go of any last remnants of tension. From your shoulders all the way down to your fingertips, your arms, your chest. With every breath, you feel the sense of heaviness and warmth deepen, as though you're sinking into the earth itself, perfectly grounded and safe. In this moment, there is nothing to do but rest, nothing to worry about. You are here now in this magical space, and you're ready for a journey into your dreams. The fire crackles softly beside you, and in the distance, the gentle murmur of the shopkeeper's voice begins. You're ready to hear the first words of your story, and you feel yourself drifting closer, deeper, into the warmth of your chair, the softness of your blankets, and the sweet comfort of the words that will soon guide you to sleep. As you rest in this place, know that each breath takes you deeper into a world of rest, relaxation, and gentle stories. You are safe, you are relaxed, and you are ready to drift into the softest of dreams. The cool breeze of early autumn swept through the town of Maplebrook, gently rustling the golden and amber leaves that lined the cobblestone streets. The air was crisp and smelled of wood smoke, cinnamon, and the sweet fragrance of ripened apples. Maplebrook had always been a town full of heart, but in the fall it was especially magical. As the first day of the Autumn Spice Festival approached, excitement buzzed through the air. The entire town would come together to celebrate the season with food, fun, and plenty of cozy moments shared around steaming mugs of cider and warm pastries. At the heart of it all was Holly's Bakery, a place known far and wide for its mouth-watering treats and cozy charm. This year, however, there was something a little different about the festival. The townsfolk had added a new tradition, the golden nutmeg trophy, a sparkling golden symbol of the best autumn-inspired treat. It was a coveted prize, and Holly had heard whispers from almost every baker in town about their plans to win. There was even talk that the winner might be granted a special wish. But for Holly, it wasn't about the trophy or the competition. She simply loved the way the bakery smelled during the fall, of spicy gingerbread, hot apple pie, and the sweetness of fresh-baked cinnamon rolls. The laughter of the children, the chatter of friends and neighbors, the feeling of belonging. It was all a part of the season she held dear. This year, though, something felt a little extra magical. As Holly mixed her ingredients early that morning, she caught the faintest glimpse of something sparkly in the corner of her eye. She turned around, only to find nothing but the familiar shelves and baking tools. "Just the morning light playing tricks on me," Holly whispered to herself, shaking her head with a soft laugh. She continued preparing her signature pumpkin spice bread, which had been a favorite at the bakery for years. The sweet aroma filled the kitchen, and soon enough, the warmth of the oven filled the bakery with an inviting glow. As Holly moved from station to station, getting ready for the opening of the festival, the bell above the bakery door chimed. She looked up, surprised to see a woman she didn't recognize walking in. The woman wore a long, cozy sweater in rich hues of burgundy and gold, and her basket was overflowing with bundles of dried herbs and spices. "Good morning," Holly greeted warmly. "Welcome to Holly's Bakery. Can I offer you a warm drink, or perhaps a sample of one of our treats?" The woman smiled brightly. "I'm Emma, and I've heard so much about your bakery. I've brought some special spices from my travels, and I was wondering if you might be interested in using them in your treats for the festival." Holly raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Spices from your travels? That sounds wonderful. I'd love to hear more." Emma pulled a small, intricately carved jar from her basket and opened it, releasing a scent that was unfamiliar but utterly enchanting, somewhere between warm cinnamon, deep clove, and the earthy richness of autumn leaves. It made Holly's mouth water instantly. "This blend is perfect for fall," Emma explained. "I've spent years gathering and blending herbs from different places. It's a little magic in every sprinkle." Holly smiled and inhaled the scent deeply, already imagining what it could become when paired with her famous apple pies or pumpkin tarts. "How intriguing! I'll definitely give it a try." "Why don't you stick around for a while? I'm sure you'll find something here that you'll like." The two of them spent the next few hours in the bakery, experimenting with the spice blend in different pastries. The aroma was unlike anything Holly had ever smelled, and each creation that came out of the oven was met with awe. The pumpkin pies had a hint of something extra, something warm and comforting. The apple tarts were rich and fragrant, with a taste that reminded Holly of the harvest moon. When it came time for the Autumn Spice Festival to begin, the bakery was alive with activity. The streets outside were lined with booths selling everything from handmade scarves to fragrant candles, but the real magic was inside Holly's bakery. The air was thick with the warmth of baking and the sweet smell of cinnamon and apples. As the festival kicked off, people eagerly lined up at Holly's booth, ready to sample the delicious autumn treats she had prepared. Word had already spread about her new creations, and the line outside the bakery grew longer by the minute. Holly and Emma stood behind the counter, chatting with the customers and sharing the pastries they had baked together. But the competition for the golden nutmeg trophy was fierce. Every other baker in town had something special to offer, and Holly knew that the stakes were high. It wasn't just about baking. It was about bringing people together and creating something that would bring warmth to everyone's heart. Then, as the clock struck noon, the judges made their rounds. Holly stood nervously at her booth, watching as they tasted each treat with careful deliberation. They made their way to her stand, sampling the pumpkin bread, the apple tarts, and the cinnamon rolls that had been baked with Emma's special spice. The judges looked at each other, nodding approvingly. "You've certainly outdone yourself, Holly," one of the judges said with a smile. "These flavors are extraordinary. There's something magical about them." Holly's heart swelled with pride, but she wasn't expecting to win. She never cared much for trophies or recognition. What mattered to her was the way the treats made people feel. The warmth, the joy, and the laughter that filled the bakery. Finally, the time came for the announcement. The whole town gathered around the stage in the center of the festival grounds, and the judges stood in front of the crowd, holding the golden nutmeg trophy high. "And the winner of this year's golden nutmeg trophy," the judge began, "goes to Holly's Bakery." A cheer erupted from the crowd, and Holly's heart skipped a beat. She looked over at Emma, who was grinning with excitement. "You did it!" Emma exclaimed. "I knew your bakery would bring something wonderful to this town." Holly smiled, feeling a deep sense of contentment. "It wasn't just me," she said softly. "It was the magic of the season, the love of the people here, and the warmth we all share." As Holly stepped up to accept the golden nutmeg trophy, she knew that, despite the excitement of winning, the true magic of the festival was in the way the community had come together. They had shared laughter, love, and the very spirit of fall, and that, she thought, was the greatest prize of all. The crowd's cheer echoed in Holly's ears as she held the golden nutmeg trophy in her hands. It shimmered in the afternoon sun, reflecting the golden hues of the falling leaves around her. It wasn't just a trophy to her. It was a symbol of the love and warmth shared in that little bakery and in the community that had welcomed her so openly. As the applause settled down, Holly stood at the stage, her heart brimming with gratitude. "Thank you," she said softly into the microphone, her voice filled with emotion. "I truly believe the magic of the season is in the way we share it with each other. This trophy is not just mine. It belongs to all of us, to everyone who's made this bakery feel like home. So thank you for believing in the spirit of the season and for all your kindness." A wave of applause filled the air once more, and Holly smiled warmly, feeling a sense of peaceful joy wash over her. The trophy, though sparkly and beautiful, was only a small part of the bigger picture. It was the people in her life, the townsfolk, her friends, and especially Thomas, that made the bakery a place of magic. As she made her way back to the bakery with the trophy, Emma walked beside her, still grinning from ear to ear. "You did it. I knew your bakery had something special. The flavors you created were like nothing I've ever tasted before." Holly smiled humbly, though her heart swelled at the compliment. "I couldn't have done it without your special spices, Emma. It was your blend that brought out something truly magical." Emma's eyes twinkled. "Well, I have plenty more where that came from. In fact, I think we should try a new combination next time. Something that blends the sweetness of autumn with a touch of surprise." Holly couldn't help but laugh. "You always have the best ideas. Maybe we'll surprise the town with a new seasonal treat just in time for the first snow." The two of them shared a quiet, contented moment as they reached the bakery door. Holly placed the golden nutmeg trophy carefully on the counter, where it caught the light and cast a warm, golden glow across the room. The bakery was alive with the delicious scents of cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove, and outside the town was still buzzing with the excitement of the festival. But inside the bakery, there was a peaceful, familiar feeling. Holly's heart felt full in a way it never had before. This was what she loved most, bringing people together through the simple, magical act of baking. "Do you mind if I stay for a while?" Emma asked, looking around at the cozy interior. "I'd love to help clean up, or even just enjoy a cup of tea." "Of course," Holly replied warmly. "I'd love the company. Plus, we have a whole pot of hot cider brewing in the back. It's perfect for the season." As they sipped their cider and cleaned up the festival's remnants, they shared stories of their lives, their families, and the little bits of magic they had encountered over the years. Emma's travels had taken her to places near and far, and Holly was fascinated by the stories of her adventures. There was something magical about the way Emma spoke. She had a quiet, soothing energy that made even the simplest moments feel extraordinary. When the last of the cider was poured and the bakery was returned to its familiar coziness, Holly felt a gentle contentment in her heart. The season had begun on such a beautiful note, and she knew there were more moments to be shared, more recipes to experiment with, more laughter to fill the air, and more memories to be made. But just as they were about to sit down and enjoy the final cup of cider, a familiar face appeared in the doorway. It was Thomas, Holly's trusted assistant, who had been busy running the festival's pie contest. He had an eager grin on his face, his cheeks rosy from the crisp autumn air. "Well, it looks like the competition's over for the day," he said, walking in and catching sight of the golden nutmeg trophy on the counter. "Looks like I missed the big announcement." Holly couldn't help but laugh. "You were there in spirit, Thomas. And yes, I won. But I have to admit it wasn't just me. The true magic came from all of us. Everyone who brought something to the table, from the spices to the smiles." Thomas nodded, his face glowing with pride. "I think we all knew you had something special, Holly. But seeing the way people reacted today, I realized that what you've built here is more than just a bakery. It's a place where memories are made, where people connect, and where the warmth of the season is felt by everyone who walks through that door." Holly looked around at the cozy space, at the walls lined with twinkling lights, the wooden shelves filled with jars of spices, and the fresh-baked pastries on the counter. The soft light of the afternoon sun was beginning to fade, and the golden glow of the trophy cast its light across the room. "You're right," Holly said softly. "It's the people who make this place special. It's about the connections we make, the kindness we share, and the magic we create in each moment. That's what truly makes this bakery a home." The three of them sat around the small wooden table in the corner of the bakery, sipping their cider and chatting about the day's events. Outside, the golden sunset bathed the town in its warm light, and the first stars began to twinkle in the sky. The evening air was crisp, but the bakery was warm, cozy, and alive with the spirit of the season. As they talked and laughed, Holly felt a deep sense of contentment. The Autumn Spice Festival had been everything she had hoped for, and more. It wasn't just about the competition, the food, or the golden trophy. It was about the connections that had been made, the smiles shared, and the memories created in that little bakery at the heart of the town. And as she sat with her friends, Holly couldn't help but think this was just the beginning. There were still so many more seasons to share, so many more moments to savor, and so much more magic to be found. As the days following the Autumn Spice Festival drifted by, the town of Maplebrook felt a little cozier with each passing moment. The trees had fully embraced their fall colours, their leaves shimmering in vibrant reds, oranges, and golds. Holly's bakery was busier than ever, with customers from near and far stopping by for a taste of her award-winning autumn treats. The warm, inviting scent of cinnamon rolls filled the air every morning, while the pumpkin pies sat proudly in the front display, tempting passers-by with their golden crusts. But Holly knew it wasn't just the delicious food that made the bakery so special. It was the sense of home, the community, and the warmth that enveloped everyone who walked through the door. Even as the bakery bustled with customers, Holly found moments of quiet joy. She loved watching the town come together. The townsfolk often lingered inside the bakery, sipping tea and sharing stories, their laughter mingling with the hum of the oven. Thomas, as always, worked alongside her, keeping things running smoothly, while Emma had become a wonderful new friend. It wasn't long before Emma's presence became a part of the bakery's routine. She would visit every week, bringing her little jars of magical spices, sharing new recipes, and helping Holly experiment with the next seasonal batch of treats. On one particularly chilly afternoon, as golden light filtered through the windows, Holly and Emma found themselves in the bakery's kitchen, kneading dough and chatting about their plans for the coming winter. "Have you ever thought about making a special holiday treat?" Emma asked, her hands moving rhythmically as she shaped a batch of cinnamon rolls. "Something that feels as cozy and magical as the season itself." Holly paused, a thoughtful look crossing her face. "I've been toying with the idea. A new holiday recipe could be just the thing for the upcoming season. What did you have in mind?" Emma's eyes twinkled as she leaned in closer. "How about we infuse the flavors of winter spices into a rich, warm loaf? Something with cardamom, ginger, and a bit of orange zest. Just a little surprise to wake up the taste buds. And I've been thinking about adding a drizzle of cinnamon glaze to top it all off. A perfect match for a cozy winter evening." Holly smiled, her eyes lighting up. "I love it. I think the town will adore it." The two of them worked into the afternoon, the sounds of whisking, stirring, and kneading filling the air. As they finished the dough, Holly couldn't help but feel a wave of contentment wash over her. The bakery had become a place of true magic, not just for the pastries, but for the connections it fostered. It wasn't just a place to buy treats. It was a place where people could slow down, breathe, and truly enjoy each other's company. As the new winter loaf baked in the oven, a golden aroma filled the bakery. Holly carefully placed a few loaves on the cooling racks and sighed happily. The sweetness of the spices mingled with the warmth of the bakery, and for a moment it felt like time stood still. These are going to be a hit, Emma said, her smile wide as she tasted a slice. I can already imagine the cozy moments they'll bring. Families gathered around the fireplace, friends sitting at the bakery with steaming mugs of cider. Just then, the bell above the bakery door jingled, and in walked a familiar face. Maggie, the town school teacher, and her 2 young children, who always stopped by after school for a treat. Maggie's cheeks were rosy from the cool air, and her children giggled as they darted inside. "Hello, Holly." "Emma," Maggie greeted, her arms filled with homemade scarves and mittens she had just finished knitting. "The autumn festival was absolutely lovely. I just wanted to say how much we all enjoyed your treats. We've been talking about them all week." "Oh, thank you, Maggie." Holly smiled, delighted by the praise. "I'm so glad you liked them. We've been working on something new too, perfect for the upcoming season." Maggie's eyes lit up. "What's the new treat?" Holly reached into the oven and pulled out the warm loaves, placing them carefully onto the counter. "This is our new winter loaf. It's made with cardamom, ginger, and a touch of orange zest, drizzled with a sweet cinnamon glaze." The children eagerly leaned forward, their eyes wide with anticipation. "Can we try some?" one of them asked. "Of course," Holly said with a grin, slicing off a piece of the loaf and handing it to each child. Their faces lit up as they took their first bites. It's like a hug in a loaf," the younger one exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. Emma and Holly shared a knowing smile. "We were hoping it would feel that way," Emma said softly. The bakery soon filled with the warm, comforting laughter of the children as they enjoyed their treats. Maggie, too, smiled. Her heart warmed not just by the delicious bread, but by the way the bakery had become such a special place in the town. As the afternoon passed into evening and the last rays of the sun slipped behind the hills, Holly sat down at the bakery table with Thomas and Emma. The bakery was quiet now, the only sound the soft crackling of the fire in the corner. Outside, the first hints of frost were beginning to settle on the rooftops, and the night air felt fresh and clear. "Today was a perfect reminder of why we do this," Holly said, her voice filled with warmth. "It's not just about baking treats. It's about creating moments for people to slow down and share with each other. That's what makes this all worth it." Emma nodded, her eyes soft and content. "I couldn't agree more, Holly. You've created something truly magical here. This town is lucky to have you." Thomas smiled, raising his mug of cider. "To magic, to warmth, and to the bakery, where all the best memories are made." They all clinked their mugs together, and for a moment, everything felt perfect. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees, and inside the bakery, the smell of freshly baked loaves lingered in the air, warming the hearts of everyone who entered. It was the start of a beautiful season, filled with cozy moments, delicious treats, and the magic that only a place like this could bring. And so, the cozy days of fall in Maplebrook continued, with more magical moments to come. The bakery was alive with warmth, and its doors remained open to anyone in need of a little comfort, a little sweetness, or a little bit of joy. Each new day brought something new flavors, new faces, and always the same sense of belonging and community that made Holly's bakery a place like no other. As the winter winds began to blow gently through the trees, Holly's bakery had become the heart of Maplebrook. The cinnamon loaves, spiced cakes, and mugs of hot cider were more popular than ever, and the entire town seemed to glow with warmth as the holiday season approached. The bakery was filled with the unmistakable scent of freshly baked treats, while the windows fogged up with the chatter and laughter of customers. But one chilly evening, as Holly and Emma worked side by side in the kitchen, something unexpected happened. Holly was kneading dough for a new batch of gingerbread cookies when a peculiar shimmer in the air caught her eye. At first, she thought it was just the light from the fire dancing in the corner of the room, but it wasn't the usual soft glow. It was a flicker, like a tiny spark of something else. "Did you see that?" Holly asked, her voice low and filled with curiosity. Emma, who had been chopping candied ginger, turned slowly toward the source of the shimmer. I did," she said, her brow furrowing slightly. "I thought it was just my imagination, but it seems like there's something here." Before Holly could respond, the shimmer flickered again, this time a soft golden light that seemed to dance around the bakery, making the air feel electric, almost like the very room was alive. "That's not the light," Emma whispered, a knowing smile tugging at her lips. "I think it's something more. Something from the spices I've been bringing." Holly felt a chill of excitement run down her spine. "What do you mean? I thought those spices were just, well, magical in a good way. But this feels different." Emma set down the knife and slowly walked over to the counter where a small jar of her special spice blend sat, the lid cracked open. The moment she touched it, the shimmer in the air intensified, as if the jar itself was humming with energy. "I think," Emma began, her voice filled with wonder, "that this blend is more than just a flavor enhancer. It's enchanted, truly enchanted. I must have unknowingly unlocked something when I created it." Holly's eyes widened. "What do you mean by enchanted? You said there was magic in the spices, but this feels different. It feels alive." Emma nodded slowly. "I've always known that there's a certain magic in the herbs and spices I gather, but this combination, it has the ability to stir something deeper, something ancient even, and it looks like it's reacting to the bakery, to the warmth and love we've been creating here." Holly's heart raced. She had always loved the sense of magic in the bakery, but now it was more real than she ever could have imagined. Before they could discuss it further, the shimmering light suddenly began to pulse and twirl around the room. It circled the bakery, its glow intensifying with each passing second. The air grew warmer, and Holly could almost feel the walls themselves vibrating with the magic of the moment. She reached out instinctively, as if the light were calling to her, and it swirled around her hand before landing softly on the spice jar. And then, just as quickly as it had started, the shimmer disappeared. The room was still. Holly and Emma stared at each other, both breathless. Holly's fingers gently touched the spice jar, and for the first time she could sense something truly remarkable. An ancient warmth, like the feeling of holding a secret or an untold story. "What just happened?" Holly whispered, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and awe. Emma's voice was soft but certain. "I think this spice is more than just a seasoning for treats. It's a catalyst for magic. It's been waiting for the right time, the right place. And it seems to have chosen your bakery, Holly." Holly looked around the bakery, the familiar warmth of the oven and the cozy charm of the space now tinged with something else, something mysterious. But why here? Why now? Emma placed the jar down gently and met Holly's gaze. "I think the magic has been waiting for a place of love, warmth, and community to unlock its full potential. You've created something here, something more than just a bakery. It's a sanctuary, a place where people feel safe and loved. I think the magic wants to be part of that." A soft, soft knock at the bakery door startled them both. It was already well past closing time, and Holly frowned, wondering who would be visiting at this late hour. Emma stood with her head tilted, as if sensing something in the air. "Should we answer it?" Holly asked. Emma's eyes sparkled, her lips curling into a small smile. "I think we should." Holly made her way to the door, heart still fluttering with the mystery of what had just happened. She opened it slowly, unsure of what she would find. Standing in the doorway was an elderly woman with silver hair that shimmered softly in the moonlight. She wore a long cloak made of deep emerald green, and her eyes, though kind, held a secret glint. She carried with her a basket of freshly picked herbs, something Holly immediately recognized as both familiar and unknown. "Good evening," the woman said with a soft musical voice. "I believe I've found the place I've been looking for." "Can I help you?" Holly asked, her voice still tinged with the mystery of the magic that had just taken place. The woman smiled warmly, her eyes twinkling with knowing. "I believe you've already helped more than you know. I'm here because I was drawn to your bakery, to the energy it holds. It seems that you've unlocked something that's been waiting for the right time to emerge, something from long ago." Holly and Emma exchanged a glance. The woman's words sent another shiver down Holly's spine. "You know about the magic?" Emma asked quietly, her voice both cautious and curious. The elderly woman nodded. "I do. In fact, I was the one who first introduced the spice blends into the world many years ago. But I've been waiting for a time when the magic would be needed again, when a place like yours would come along, a place where warmth and connection could awaken it once more." Holly blinked, trying to take it all in. "You created the spices? But I don't understand. Why now? Why here?" The woman stepped forward, her presence as gentle and wise as the season itself. "The world needs warmth, Holly. The world needs more love, more connection. And your bakery is exactly what it needs. The magic has always been a part of this town, of this place. and now it has found its home with you. Holly felt a deep sense of wonder and a new responsibility settle into her heart. It wasn't just about baking anymore. It was about something far greater. The woman placed the basket of herbs into Holly's hands. Use these wisely. Let the magic guide you. It will show you the way, just as it has always done. As the woman turned and began to walk away, Emma and Holly stood in stunned silence. The air around them hummed with the possibility of what was to come. And just like that, Holly knew that her bakery had become something far beyond what she had ever imagined. The magic of the spices wasn't just about flavor. It was about something deeper, something that would change everything. The elderly woman had disappeared into the crisp night air before Holly could even catch her name. She and Emma stood in the doorway for a long moment, staring out into the empty street, the shadows of the trees stretching long in the moonlight. The basket of herbs still sat in Holly's hands, the delicate leaves swaying slightly as though they were alive. "What now?" Holly asked, her voice a mixture of excitement and wonder. "I feel like we're standing at the edge of something huge, Emma, but I have no idea where to start." Emma, ever calm and steady, took the basket from Holly's hands and examined the herbs carefully. "We'll need to take our time with this. Magic like this doesn't rush. It unfolds in its own time, revealing things when we're ready." The herbs in the basket were unlike any Holly had ever seen. Some had a soft lavender hue, while others shimmered with gold as if they were dusted with stardust. There were leaves that seemed to glow faintly, and flowers that seemed to change color depending on how they were viewed. Holly had no doubt these were no ordinary herbs. They were the very essence of magic itself. "We'll start small," Emma continued, her voice steady as she gently brushed the herbs with her fingers. "Maybe we should try adding these to the next batch of something. See if we can sense the magic in action. See what it does." Holly nodded, feeling a sense of determination settle within her. She didn't know how, but she knew she was meant to carry on the legacy of this magic. Her bakery had become more than just a business. It was a place where people found warmth, comfort, and now it seemed something more profound, something tied to the heart of Maplebrook, perhaps even the heart of the world itself. The next morning, with the sun just beginning to rise and a light frost dusting the windows of the bakery, Holly and Emma set to work. The bakery was quiet, the streets outside still blanketed in early morning mist. Inside, the soft glow of the oven provided a comforting warmth as Holly mixed the dough for a new batch of sugar cookies, the recipe she had made for years. But this time was different. This time, she added a pinch of the new herbs from the basket, crushed gently into the batter, with just a touch of the shimmering golden leaves. The moment the herbs touched the dough, the bakery seemed to hum with energy. Holly paused, feeling the air around her shift as if something unseen had entered the room. "What do you think?" Emma asked, her eyes wide with a mix of curiosity and excitement. Holly took a deep breath, savoring the unfamiliar yet familiar scent that had filled the room. It was subtle at first, but the air felt charged, alive in a way it never had before. "I can feel it," Holly whispered. "It's like a warmth radiating from the dough itself, as if it's, breathing with life." Emma nodded slowly. "Exactly. That's the magic of the spices. It's more than just flavor. It's energy, emotion, and memory all wrapped up in one. It can enhance whatever is already here. Whatever we create will carry that energy, that magic." As they carefully rolled the dough into perfect circles and placed them on the baking sheets, something incredible happened. Each cookie began to shimmer faintly, the edges glowing with a soft golden light. Holly couldn't believe her eyes. The warmth in the bakery intensified, and she could feel the energy of the magic flowing through her, connecting her to something greater than she had ever imagined. When the cookies were finally done, they were unlike anything Holly had ever baked before. The edges were delicately crisp, and the centers were soft, almost pillowy, but the true magic lay in the way the cookies shimmered in the light. They were more than just treats now. They were vessels of magic, glowing with the power of the ancient spices. Holly and Emma shared a glance, both of them silently acknowledging the extraordinary transformation. They had only just begun to unlock the full potential of the magic. What they had created wasn't just a batch of sugar cookies. It was something that could bring joy, warmth, and connection to those who tasted it. As they placed the cookies on the counter to cool, they noticed something else. People were starting to gather outside the bakery. It wasn't yet opening time, but the familiar faces of the townsfolk were appearing at the windows, drawn to the warm glow from within. "Looks like the magic is already working," Holly said, grinning. Emma smiled softly. "The magic is drawn to where it's needed most, and from the looks of it, Maplebrook could use a little extra warmth today." The first to step inside was Maggie, the schoolteacher. She had a warm smile on her face and a basket full of apples in her arms. "Good morning, Holly. I couldn't help but notice the light from the bakery. It's glowing brighter than usual today." Holly smiled and gestured to the counter. "We've got something special today. Why don't you try one of these?" Maggie raised an eyebrow, but smiled and took a cookie. The moment she bit into it, her eyes closed, and a peaceful sigh escaped her lips. "Holly," she said softly, her voice filled with wonder. They taste like the very heart of fall, like the first fire of the season wrapped in sugar and spice. I can feel it. There's something about them, something magical." Holly's heart swelled with pride, and Emma gave her a knowing look. "It's the spices," Emma explained. "They bring out the magic of the season, of the place, of the people. It's not just the flavor, it's the energy, the warmth, the love." As more townsfolk came in, one by one, they all experienced the same awe as they tasted the cookies. Some felt memories of childhood winter nights. Others found themselves reminded of cozy moments with family and friends. The magic in the cookies wasn't just about taste. It was about creating connections, sparking something deep within the soul. The word spread quickly. Soon, Holly's bakery became the talk of the town, and not just because of the delicious pastries, but because of the magic that seemed to pour from the place. Every bite of a cookie, Every sip of cider carried a little piece of the enchantment that had awakened in the bakery. As the days passed, Holly found herself adding more of the enchanted herbs to her recipes. But with each new batch, the magic felt different. Some pastries had the power to bring clarity to troubled minds. Others seemed to create a sense of calm, easing the worries of the day. Some were filled with joy so vibrant that the moment they were eaten, laughter filled the air. It wasn't just about the treats anymore. Holly's Bakery had become a place of healing, a place where people came to not only fill their bellies, but to find solace, love, and connection. And through it all, the glowing shimmer remained, gently illuminating the bakery like a beacon of warmth. The magic had found its home, and it was more than anyone could have imagined. As the days passed, the quiet town of Maplebrook became an extraordinary place, almost as if it were under a spell. Holly's Bakery, once a simple gathering spot for baked goods and warm beverages, had transformed into something much more. The magic from the enchanted spices was spreading through the town like the first rays of sunlight in spring, bringing new life to everything it touched. It started subtly with small, almost imperceptible changes. People found themselves waking up feeling lighter, their hearts more full. Maggie, the school teacher, noticed that her students were more attentive and eager to learn. The class had always been lively, but now there was an energy in the room, a spark of curiosity that hadn't been there before. The air was charged with a sense of possibility, like the students could reach for anything. One chilly morning, Henry, the town's grumpy postman, stopped by the bakery. He had always been a man of few words, a man who didn't believe in magic or anything that couldn't be explained. But even he couldn't deny the shift in the air. After a hesitant bite of a cinnamon bun, he looked around the bakery as if seeing it for the first time. A slight grin tugged at his lips. "You know, Holly, I've always thought this place was nice. But now, I don't know, there's something different, something that feels right." Holly smiled, knowing exactly what he meant. It wasn't just the food. It was the warmth, the sense of belonging, the energy that had come alive within the walls of her bakery. Over the next few days, the magical effects of the bakery began to ripple outward. The once quiet streets were now filled with laughter, music, and conversation. People wandered through the cobblestone roads, stopping to greet one another, sharing stories and joy as if some invisible thread had pulled them all closer together. One evening, as the sun dipped low behind the hills and the sky turned a soft pink, Leah, the owner of the little antique shop in town, unlocked her door to find something astonishing. There, on the threshold, lay a bundle of dried flowers, lavender, rosemary, and cinnamon, neatly wrapped in twine. There was no note, no explanation, just the flowers. But the moment Leah touched them, something happened. The shop, usually dim and dusty with time, suddenly came alive with light. The wooden floorboards seemed to hum with energy, and the once static objects on the shelves, old clocks, porcelain teacups, and weathered furniture, seemed to sparkle, their colours richer and more vivid. It was as if the magic from the bakery had found its way to her shop, infusing it with a newfound vitality. Leah stood in the doorway, her heart swelling with emotion. She felt the stirrings of a deep connection to the town and to the past, as if the history of the place was weaving itself into her present. The magic had sparked something inside her, something she hadn't even known was missing. "This town is changing," she murmured to herself, her fingers caressing the flowers, "and I think it's for the better." Meanwhile, the bakery continued to buzz with activity. Each day, new people walked in, drawn by the pull of the magic that hung in the air, and each day something miraculous happened. Jonah, the carpenter, found his creativity renewed. His usual routine of building and repairing seemed ordinary compared to the sudden inspiration that surged through him every time he stepped foot in the bakery. He crafted beautiful furniture with ease, each piece more intricate and thoughtful than the last. And Ellie, the local artist, started seeing her paintings come to life in new ways. Her watercolors, once soft and dreamy, now shimmered with the same ethereal glow that filled Holly's bakery. Her artwork began to take on a life of its own, capturing the beauty and magic of the world around her. People marveled at her paintings, feeling as though they were stepping into another world when they gazed upon them. The townsfolk didn't talk about the magic. It was something they all felt but couldn't explain. It had become a part of the fabric of Maplebrook, as natural as the breeze or the changing seasons. The whole town was wrapped in a gentle glow, as if they were collectively basking in a shared warmth. One morning, as the bakery doors swung open to a new day, Maggie, the schoolteacher, arrived early, her arms full of handmade wreaths. She had been preparing for the upcoming holiday fair, and she wanted to deliver the wreaths to Holly's bakery to see if they could add a touch of festive cheer to the bakery's decor. Holly greeted her with a hug. "I love the wreaths, Maggie. They'll add so much warmth to the place." Maggie beamed. "I was hoping you could do something special with them. There's this feeling in the air, Holly, that I just can't shake. I think the town needs something big, something to celebrate the magic that's been happening here." Holly thought for a moment, looking at the sparkling wreaths and the familiar faces of the townsfolk who were starting to trickle in for their morning pastries. "You're right," she said softly. "The town deserves to feel this magic. We need to share it with everyone, especially now as the holidays approach." And so the idea was born. That evening, Holly and Emma worked late into the night, preparing the bakery for a grand celebration. They decorated with twinkling lights, wreaths made from Maggie's handiwork, and golden ribbons that shimmered in the low glow of the ovens. And when the doors opened the next morning, it wasn't just the bakery that had transformed, it was the entire town. The streets of Maplebrook were alive with festivity, as if the town itself was glowing from within. People wandered from shop to shop, exchanging gifts, sharing laughter, and basking in the warmth of the magic that had swept through their lives. Holly's bakery became the centerpiece of it all. More than just a place to eat, it was the heart of the community. And as the final hours of the celebration drew near, Holly found herself standing at the front of the bakery, looking out at the smiling faces of her neighbors and friends. She felt a deep sense of contentment settle in her chest, knowing that this wasn't just a fleeting magic. It was a part of who they all were now. It had become something lasting, something they could carry with them long after the holiday season had passed. Emma stood beside her, a knowing smile on her lips. "You did it, Holly. You brought the magic back." Holly nodded, her eyes soft with emotion. "No," she said quietly. "We did it. Together. All of us." And so, as the snow began to fall gently outside, and the town of Maplebrook glowed with warmth, Holly knew that her bakery had become more than just a place to enjoy sweet treats. It had become a sanctuary of magic, a place where love, connection, and wonder were always in abundance. And as long as the town believed in the magic and in one another, it would never fade.